You are back now at the Jack Off Hour. This is DJ Easydick. Sign up, stop playing. This is your boy Dre back with another episode of Dre's State of Mind. And we're going to get into a lot of juicy topics, just my thoughts on some things. And yeah, so we just going to get into this motherfucker right now. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, let's get into a word from our sponsor. All right, so want to start this episode off with something I found kind of amusing. Now, January 6th, the insurrection and everything like that popped off this year. We're Trump enthusiasts were like, they're going to steal back or take back the presidency because they felt that, Donald Trump had the election stolen from him. But this one person in particular, Jenna Ryan, she is a Donald Trump enthusiast who tweeted that she's definitely not going to jail after she stormed the Capitol on January 6th, was sentenced to 60 days in prison on Thursday. I just found that so fucking funny. Now, U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper said Ryan, who is a Texas real estate agent, flew to D.C. on a private plane and promoted her business as she live streamed in the Capitol, played a lesser role in the criminal conduct that took place than many others did, but that doesn't mean that she can't be held. But she doesn't have any culpability in what happened that day, the judge said. So when she chose to leave her hotel room, she knew she was going to do something that wasn't a peaceful protest, Cooper said. I don't think you could have missed the fact that this was no peaceful protest, Cooper said. You were a cheerleader, you cheered it on. So Ryan, who faced 4 charges, she pleaded guilty to 1 misdemeanor count, admitting she paraded, demonstrated, and picketed inside the Capitol when she knew that she didn't have any permission to be there. Now, says you're not being singled out for your political views or anything like that. That's what the judge said. I know it's where you decided to express them. No, it's how and where you decided to express them. In a letter to the judge, Ryan sought to downplay her actions that day. That said, some actions I took that day were good, she wrote. I came to D.C. to protest the election results. I wanted my voice to be heard. My only weapon was my voice and my cell phone. Now, Ryan denied in her letter that a tweet that she wrote said that she's blonde hair, white skin, great job, and a great future. I'm not going to jail. Didn't indicate that she was above the law. Nah, like you try to backpedal on that shit because you really thought that your privilege is going to keep your ass out of prison. But 60 days in prison is a slap on the wrist for that shit because she wasn't really out here wilding like the other people. So I guess they didn't really have grounds to throw the book at her. But she said, I wasn't saying I was above prison. I just felt like it would be unlikely since I pleaded guilty. No, I was pleading to entering the Capitol for 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Now I realize that was a false notion. I have a false notion. Having a false notion does not automatically mean I deserve incarceration, she wrote. A tweet of me taking up for myself against a bully who is harassing me does not indicate that I feel I'm above the law. Who the fuck is the bully who was harassing you? Like, do you feel, I guess Joe Biden winning the election was the bully who was harassing you? Like, that doesn't make any sense. See, but my take on this thing is, and it's like a lot of people, the Republicans and everything like that. It's like nowadays, most people like they don't want to accept, I guess, like the outcome of, what happened at the polls or something like that. Now, if Trump won, everything would be cool, but since the person who won wasn't the person that they that they wanted to win, they just don't want to accept the fact that their person didn't win. So it's like now all of a sudden you want to try to move the goalposts, like, oh, they tried to steal the election. Now all of a sudden you have an issue with like votes and shit like that. But it's like they've been doing this shit for years. Like this is the same fucking system that they've been doing for years. It's like now all of a sudden your boy didn't win, so now all of a sudden you got a problem with that. So that's my problem with these motherfuckers. Like, cause I'm not a political guy at all. I give a fuck about politics because whether it's a Democrat or Republican in the office, shit don't change for the common man. And as a matter of fact, under Democrats and Republicans, shit's been getting worse, you know, over the past few years. So, but this shit, now it says the FBI has made more than 650 arrests in connection with the Capitol attack. About one-fourth of the total, one-fourth of the total number of potential defendants who have committed chargeable conduct that day. So I believe that they're still bringing in people, who thought that they wasn't going to get like no prison time or anything like that. So we're just going to see how the shit continues to play out. But I just found it funny. She just thought that she wasn't going to prison, and you're going to do at least 60 days. Will she do the whole 60? I don't know. But, we'll see what happens. And if she does do the whole 60, that's fine. But if she doesn't, I don't really expect her to do the whole 60 anyway, just because, white privilege and everything. They might just give her a slap on the wrist. She might do like 15, maybe half the sentence, 30 or something like that at the latest. But I just thought this shit was funny. So I just want to share it with y'all. Okay, so here's an update with the, Gabby Petito Brian Laundrie saga. So pretty much the FBI probe slaying fugitives' texts and emails as they try to close the Petito case. So it says the FBI will have pieced together Brian Laundrie's quote-unquote digital footprint and be aware of his movements and communications in the days before his death, according to one expert. Now, Landry's remains were, or they're being examined by forensic anthropologists in Sarasota County to try to determine the cause of his death. Now, authorities are also trying to repair a personal notebook retrieved from a dry bag near his body as part of their investigation into the death of his girlfriend, Gabby Petito. Now, it says crucial to their investigation will be Landry's digital communications, including his texts and emails, use of social media, and internet browsing history prior to his death. So, this is pretty much what they call, I believe it's like network. No, it's I just learned this damn term in fucking in IT class. I believe it's some type of like I think it's like digital forensics or something like that, where they use like your web browser, they can use like your social media, they can use your text, your emails, anything digital to try to bring a case forward and bring evidence in a crime. I believe it's called digital forensics though. Because we briefly went over this stuff, and I was like, wow. Like, I knew that they can use, like, your digital footprint against you, but I didn't know to, like, the depths that they could do it. And I'm like, yeah, most people snitch on themselves on the internet, whether it's, whether it's intentional or not intentional. Now it says, News Nation correspondent Brian Enton, I believe his name is, believes law enforcement will already have pieced together much of the puzzle. And it says, on quotes, I think the FBI knows a lot of those questions and they will be resolved. If they close the case, the documents will be available through public record searches. Now it says Miss Petito's family strongly suspect that Laundrie was impersonating her in text messages after her death to try to confuse them and the police, which is actually kind of smart. Which proves that this motherfucker is He was a crazy sociopath. Now, cell phone records should be also be able to track Landry's movements between Wyoming and Florida, where he returned to on September 1st. Now it says Mr. Enton believes the FBI could release their findings linking Landry to Miss Petito's death before closing the case. He said if they don't do that, there's technically a chance that there's still a murderer out there, he says. I think that will calm the public and give the Petitos some kind of closure. Yeah, because pretty much her death was ruled by strangulation. So pretty much I believe that, they got into an argument because most of their friends and family said that they were pretty much in a toxic relationship. They would argue, kind of, get physical with each other, break up for a couple of days and then get back together. So I mean, I've seen shit like that before. I've literally seen like domestic violence, had to like try to stop that shit and everything, and it's just very very uncomfortable. But I guess like when people get used to it, it's just like it's a cycle, and people just know that they're not going anywhere. So what's the point of even trying to I guess like intervene or break up? Because no matter how much you try to I guess like help your friend or help your family member, they're just gonna be naive enough to keep going back. So I guess like that's how people just looked at it. But yeah, like this is a fucking all around sad case. Two people just eventually died. One person who deserved that shit, and that's Brian Laundrie. After you took the life of someone else, like I have no sympathy for you. And yeah, I think you should die. So that's just me. I'm for the death penalty. So uh, I don't know if he unalived himself or if someone unalived him or something unalived him. But they allegedly found his remains and they're still trying to. I guess they did confirm it. So they're just trying to find out how he actually died. Now it says like a timeline of events in the Petito Laundrie case. July 2nd, Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie leave New York for van life road trip. So August 12th, the couple was seen arguing in Moab City, Utah. Concerned bystanders called the police, who intervened, capturing the altercation on video. The officer's body cameras caught that. And one officer describes the incident as a mental health crisis. So pretty much like they could have just stopped this shit right then and there, but for whatever reason, they just let him slide. So August 12th, Landry flies from Salt Lake City, Utah to Tampa Bay, Florida. Well, Tampa Bay, Florida, Tampa, Florida, whatever, alone, and collects some items and close the storage unit as the couple allegedly contemplates, extending their road trip. That's what he says. But by then, he had already killed her. August 23rd, Landry returns to Salt Lake City to rejoin Petito, allegedly. Now, August 24th, Petito spotted checking out of a hotel in Salt Lake City with Landry. All right, so he didn't kill her. Petito has a video call with her mother. This is August 25th. August 27th, Louisiana couple see Petito and Laundrie involved in a commotion at the Mary Piglet's Tex-Mex restaurant in Jackson, Wyoming. Hold on, okay, Jackson, Wyoming. Last known sighting of Petito. So somewhere between the 27th and the 30th, he killed her. August 30th, last text messages sent from Petito's phone, which is probably sent by Laundrie. September 1st, Laundrie returns to Northport, Florida, where the couple lived. He returned without Gabby. September 11th, Petito's family launched a missing persons investigation. September 14th, police declare Laundrie as a person of interest in the case. And pretty much from there to, I want to say all right, so September 19th, they announced that the body that they had discovered was Petito over in Wyoming. September 20th, they pretty much The FBI starts searching for Laundrie, and then we just bring it on home to October 12th. Our Tenton County coroner, I guess that's in Wyoming, announces Petito's cause of death was strangulation. And then 8 days later, October 20th, human remains discovered in Florida. And Florida's Carlton Reserve, alongside personal items that belong to Laundrie. So, yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at right now. And I guess like they're close to closing this case because I guess like he's deceased, and I guess like they feel like they have the evidence that they could connect that he actually killed Petito, and then somewhere along the line he lost his life. So yeah, rest in peace to Gabby Petito. Fuck Brian Laundrie. You can rest in piss. All abusers, domestic violence abusers, they can all eat a dick, whether it's male or female or transgender or whatever gender you identify. If you're abusing someone, you can eat a dick and you deserve to die. That's just my opinion, and I'll die on that hill. But yeah, so pretty much we're just going to move on to the next subject. Now we're going to move on to a case that just screams white privilege. We're going to take our attention over to Kenosha, Wisconsin, where, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial is still going on. And now with this, it says a police officer explains why he didn't arrest Kyle Rittenhouse when he tried to surrender after the shootings. Now, this dude just shot like multiple people, killed two people, like with an assault rifle, and like it just never crossed the police officer's mind to let me place this kid under arrest, or at least hold him, detain him, or something like that. Now it says a Kenosha police officer who encountered Kyle Rittenhouse moments after he shot 3 men testified on Friday about why he didn't arrest a teenager who had approached the police convoy with his hands up in the air and an AR-15 rifle slung across his body. Now, Officer Pep Moretti, that name just sounds kind of racist. But anyway, testified on the 4th day of Rittenhouse's homicide trial, where the teenager has pleaded not guilty to fatally shooting 2 men and injuring a third. Rittenhouse, his defense attorneys have agreed that the 17-year-old shot the men in self-defense after they chased him. Now, last fall, if you didn't see the videos, the video pretty much went viral. Show Rittenhouse walking up to officers as they yelled at him to get out of the way, and drove off in the immediate aftermath of the shootings. Now, critics of police flaunted the video as proof that white suspects like Rittenhouse can get away with homicide, while black suspects are handled more roughly in less serious situations. But Moretti, I'm sorry, fucking this man's name up. Excuse me. Disputed that narrative on Friday. Moretti told the court that there were several reasons why he and his partner hadn't suspected that Rittenhouse was the shooter. Namely, they could still hear active gunfire as Rittenhouse approached. There was still gunfire erupting around us when we were still out on Sheridan. So we still thought that there was an active shooter, which is actually bullshit, because after Rittenhouse stopped shooting, because if you seen the whole entire video, you didn't hear any gunshots in the background. So that's complete horse shit. He's just trying to make an excuse of why he didn't, or why him and his partner didn't arrest Rittenhouse, and they just let this kid slide. Probably because they don't fuck with the Black Lives Matter movement anyway, so they didn't really give a fuck if these people were shot and killed. And it was, ironically, I think three white people that were actually shot, and 2 died. So this dude, Rittenhouse, he literally drove from Illinois over to Wisconsin to go fuck with this Black Lives Matter protest. Shit had nothing to do with him. His parents took his ass like across state lines, knowing that he's not of age to have an assault rifle anyway. And like he had an assault rifle. I guess like they had like a heated exchange, and pretty much like that's when shit got heated, and pretty much like he just started shooting. Like he got scared, he started shooting, and then like that's when they started to attack him after he let off like the first couple of shots, because like now their lives are in danger and they have the right to defend themselves. So pretty much like this whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing is bullshit, and pretty much like even the judge, like the prosecution, says depicts Kyle Rittenhouse as a tourist agitator, well, in murder case. So pretty much the prosecutors, he's trying to paint him as like, the criminal that he actually is. But it just seems like the judge, who was like pretty much saying that you can't call the people who died victims, you got to call them like rioters or protesters or something like that, like trying to dehumanize these people who were shot, like the two that was killed and the one who was shot. Like it makes no fucking sense whatsoever. So they're trying to get him on first degree intentional homicide, first degree reckless homicide, attempted first degree intentional homicide, I guess for the person that didn't die, and 2 accounts of first degree recklessly endangering safety. He also faces 1 misdemeanor charge for possession of dangerous weapon under the age of 18. He has also pleaded not guilty to that too. Like this kid really thought that he was just a part of the police and he could just do whatever he wanted. He was giving the police water. Like he was kissing these motherfuckers' asses. Like you could see him on video. Like he was following the police. He thought he was one of them. He got in good with their graces and shit. Like they're sitting up there laughing and joking with this motherfucker. And then shit when shit pops off, like they just conveniently let this boy slide. Like and then they let him go all the way back over to Illinois, about like 20 miles away from from Kenosha. So pretty much I don't understand like why you had to drive like that far to go fuck with other people. Like it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And it seems like in my like the way I look at it, like Kenosha, like this judge is like he's trying everything in his power to let this kid slide. So, but hopefully the prosecutor stays on his ass. And like I said, Judge Schroeder, he already attracted scrutiny to the high-profile trial before it began by ordering those who had been shot to be not referred to as victims, while stating that rioters, looters, and arsonists could potentially be used for those people. So it's just it's language like that that lets me know that they're trying to stack the deck for this kid, and pretty much like the prosecutor has got to be on this shit, and hopefully he can get like some conviction on this little smug little bitch ass nigga, because yeah, he's got a very punchable face. And I don't like this kid. I don't even know him. I don't like him. I judge you by your actions, and what he did was very despicable. And I don't give a fuck if he was 17 or not. Like, he needs to pay for what he did. Hey, ain't nobody tell you to go over there. There's consequences for your actions, and I hope this motherfucker, pretty much gets what's coming to him, what he deserves, because those people didn't deserve to get shot. Like, if you were scared, you shouldn't have been out there. So that's my opinion. People can exercise, their right to protest. Like it's pretty much their God-given right. Anybody can protest anything. So yeah, fuck Kyle Rittenhouse, and hopefully they pretty much throw the book at this bitch ass nigga. All right, so one of the shake my goddamn head moments of the past couple of weeks was I had seen an article, a headline that was like, Fetty Wap had been arrested by the feds for pretty much like selling, conspiracy to distribute and possess controlled substances, including cocaine, fentanyl, and heroin. So, he was recently released on a $500,000 secured bond. Now, his real name is William Jr. Maxwell II. He pleaded not guilty last week to participating in what authorities called $1 million bi-coastal drug scheme. Now, it says he will be subject to GPS monitoring and random drug tests while on bond. He would also be required to surrender his passport while he waits for trial. So, that's just to take away the flight risk. Now, Maxwell and 5 others, like I said, were charged with conspiracy to distribute and possess controlled substances, including cocaine, fentanyl, and heroin. Now, like, especially with fentanyl, like, you gotta be a piece of shit out here to be selling that shit, because that shit is like, it's devastating people. Like, that shit is killing motherfuckers like at a rapid pace. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you out here like trying to distribute fentanyl, just a little bit of that shit can fucking, put someone in the ground like 6 feet deep. Now, it says authorities claim the group used United Postal Service. No, used the United Postal, the U.S. Postal Service and cars with hidden compartments to distribute 100 kilos of illegal substances, including cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, and crack cocaine from the West Coast to Long Island and New Jersey. Now, it says once the drugs arrived on Long Island, they were allegedly distributed to dealers. Now, Maxwell, Fetty Wap, was accused of being a kilogram level redistributor for the trafficking organization. Now, it doesn't help that you had a fucking song. One of your biggest songs was Trap Queen, and which is basically like saying that you fucking sell dope and your chick is helping you sell dope. Like, that's a Trap Queen. So pretty much Maxwell is best known for his chart-topping hit Trap Queen, which earned him two Grammy nominations in 2015 and led to two additional hit songs, My Way and 679. Now, he was scheduled to perform at Rolling Loud, which I'm still like amazed at, because he's pretty much like really a one-hit wonder, and then he had like two, I guess like two hits or two songs that were considered hits that people was like, all right, you still have our attention, but pretty much like Trap Queen is I consider his one and only hit. Even though I didn't like that song, but so he was scheduled to perform at Rolling Loud, last week at Citi Field in New York City, but law enforcement actually arrested him there. It says the fact that we arrested a chart-topping rap artist and a corrections officer as part of the conspiracy illustrates how vile the drug trade has become. So pretty much, if he's convicted, he could face up to a life sentence. So pretty much like, well, I heard he has like 9 kids or something like that. Because like as soon as he got on, like he just started hitting like mad Jones raw. Because I guess like he just thought the money wasn't gonna stop coming in. But if you're a one-hit wonder and a one-trick pony, eventually, like in this climate in hip hop, like people are just, if you ain't got the next hit, like they're just on to the next one. And pretty much like you've been cold for like 6 years, dog. 6 years in rap is like, that's a long ass time. It's a long ass time to be cold in these streets. So pretty much, I mean, it really didn't surprise me that he moved back to, I guess, like moving that weight, for the money to come in. Because once the rap money slowed up, you got to figure out how to make money some way, right? So it's a pretty dumbass decision, like especially since you're in the public eye. So you try like any of this shit, like people are gonna recognize you and they're like, oh, it's Fetty Wap. Like, oh, you're selling drugs now. Things of that nature, and especially like at a federal level, like they're not going to come and get you unless they got evidence on you, because like the feds have like a 99% conviction rate. So pretty much like they're going to come and get you because they feel like it's a fucking slam dunk case. They don't take cases unless it's an open and shut case, and they know that they're gonna get your ass. So it doesn't look good for Fetty Wap. It really doesn't. So all his fans, y'all better listen to whatever music that he got out now, because it looks like he's probably not going to release anything soon or in the future. Because if they really convict his ass, like, yeah, he's going away for a long ass time. So he just fucked himself and subsequently fucked over his family too. So you could have figured out another way to make money, but instead you try to do this shit. And most of these motherfuckers be like, oh, I do it for my kids, blah, blah, blah. I'm doing this. I'm taking the chances for my kids and blah, blah, blah. And then you get caught. Now all of a sudden, like, oh, well, I'll never see my kids again. Like, you should have thought about that shit before you start moving that weight, dumbass. Now, I stumbled across this article where it says Lyft driver shot 7 times in Mississippi woods, drags herself to safety. So this shit is crazy. It says a Lyft driver who was kidnapped by a teenage passenger and shot 7 times, left in the Mississippi woods, said she garnered enough strength to drag herself to safety by thinking about her loved ones. Now, her name is Brandy Luttrell. She recounted, I guess, like what happened on Tuesday. Damn, this shit happened on Tuesday. But in the Tuesday's ordeal, in an interview with the NBC affiliate down over in Jacksonville. Now, she said she told the news station that the suspect drove her to the woods and ordered her to get down on her knees before he shot her and drove away in her car. Now, she said, I realized I wasn't dead, that I hadn't bled out, she said. So thoughts of her relatives flooded her mind. She said, she basically didn't want her family to know what happened to her. And she said, so she started crawling out of the woods and got enough strength to stand up. Now, she said she remembered the mail in her vehicle had her address on it, and she became worried about her grandmother who was staying at the home. She said, I knew if he could shoot me that many times, he wouldn't have any problem shooting her either. So she said, she's just super grateful to be alive. She managed to drag herself out of the woods, knocked on doors at an apartment complex. A resident found her and called 911. Now, a 17-year-old suspect was arrested and charged with kidnapping, robbery, carjacking, and aggravated assault. They didn't release his name because, his dumbass is under the age of 18. So they usually don't, release suspects' names, I guess, like unless they killed someone, or they're being charged as an adult. Then that's when they release their identity. But it said the teenager could be charged as an adult, so that would actually release his name, and face an additional charge of attempted murder. Although police named him, NBC. Okay, so the police named him, but NBC News does not usually identify minors. Yeah, it's usually like the news outlets that don't identify minors until they're actually charged as adults. Says that the shooting comes on the heels of Lyft's first ever safety report. It released last month, detailing some physical assaults that turned deadly during the 3-year period. Now, but the shit is crazy though, because it says like the Lyft safety report concluded more than 4,000 sexual assaults occurred on Lyft trips between 2017 and 2019. Now, I was actually a Lyft driver not that long, but I had got pulled off because I had got like 3 tickets. But you have people out here like shooting, like, I guess like, you got customers out here kidnapping people and shooting them. You got Uber drivers out here, or Uber drivers and Lyft drivers out here sexually assaulting people. I've seen like some Uber drivers like robbing customers, killing customers, things of that nature. But I got pulled for 3 fucking moving violations. Like, the shit is crazy. Now it says, included in the data on sexual assaults over the same period, 10 people died after physical assaults, including 3 people in 2017 and 18, and for the following year, the report said. So the teenager confessed to the crimes involving the Lyft driver. Jackson police said it was not clear if he had made an appearance in court yet, or if he's going to be represented by an attorney. Now, pretty much, yeah. So like that shit is crazy, but I'm glad she was able to get herself to safety, and pretty much I wish her a speedy recovery because, like I said, like I mainly drove for Uber. I did over, I believe, like 5,000 trips for Uber before, because Uber and Lyft, they both took me off from picking up, but they took me off from the platform for getting like 3 moving violations, like just 3 tickets. But then, I keep seeing like stuff that people getting physically assaulted, people getting killed, people getting sexually assaulted, things of that nature. But I'm like, you just took me off for 3 fucking tickets. I had like a 4.95 rating. So pretty much like been on like plenty of trips. I just, thank my lucky stars that none of them turned out to be like that. Like, turned out to be violent or anything like that. I just dealt with a whole bunch of drunk people, picking up people from clubs, college parties, things of that nature, taking people back and forth to work, and things of that nature. But yeah, that shit is crazy. Like, I just thank my lucky stars that I never encountered anything like that. So, like I said, pretty much wish a speedy recovery to Brandy Luttrell, and continue to heal up. And God bless. All right, so just wanted to thank everybody for listening to this week's episode, and I just wanted to wrap up by saying if there's anything that you want to hear, any particular topics, you could leave me a message. You should be able to see it on, however you listen to it, on Apple Music, Spotify, the Anchor app. There should be like a link that has like a message that you can click on that you could leave me. Other than that, like I just wanted to say thank you to everyone, and my message that I always have is, if you have a dream or you have a goal, always, work towards achieving that goal, achieving that dream. Don't let anybody stop you from doing it, and try to get to where you need to be. And, I'll be rooting for you. And, pretty much let's get it. I'll see y'all at the top. Thank you for listening. 1.